Do you know, I try to work out how this all happened, you know what I mean? Why is families fighting like that with me? I can't make it out, yeah? Because Christine's my ex-wife, you know, she's got my son, you know what I mean, my daughter, you know, and why I can't make out anything. Forget about it, let's go on with my sister. My sister Dinah, she's always been a pain in my backside. I've always fought for my sister. You know, always hurt people for my sister. My sister got herself in trouble, it was Ray. Ray do this, Ray do that, and it's always Ray. And I would do anything for my sister, which I did. So when this book was being done for Matt Trollope, Matt Trollope would phone my sister up and ask her about certain things. And she was as good as gold. And then, once my book was done, and about a week, 2 weeks later, she went into one, right? Instead of phoning me up and talking to me, because she knew what would happen if she talked to me, she talked to Terry Haley. What's he want to get involved for? He doesn't want, he's a millionaire. The geezer doesn't want that problem. My sister wants Terry to turn against me, but he won't. I mean, Terry go back a long way. She doesn't understand that, yeah? Anyway, so she's trying her hardest to ruin things for me, my mate Terry. Terry, all she does is keep texting Terry, and driving Terry mad. Things she's saying is just unbelievable, yeah? Why don't she just let it go? Why don't she just leave me alone, right? 30 years nearly in prison, yeah? Not in one stretch, in big stretches though, right? 30 years. And what I've gone through is so much. And I come out of prison and I had the opportunity to do a book. Terry Haley gave me the opportunity to do a book, yeah? He paid for the book and everything was done. Every week I was sitting down with a book writer, the ghostwriter, getting it all done, Matt Trollope. Everything was going sweet. Everything was nice. Matt Trollope was to phone my sister up. Dinah would give this, Dinah would do that. Everything was nice. Then all of a sudden the book come out, crash. But as I said, she would never phone me up. She would only phone Terry up and give Terry grief. Terry didn't want to know. He don't bother. He ain't bothered. He used to come and show me everything she said and texts. He used to show me. You know, and I went, oh, leave it out. I can't make her out. Just let her go, man. Let her do her own thing, yeah? But she'd never once phone me. She would always send me pictures and cakes and, you know, other pictures and all the photographs and things like that, always, yeah? But still giving me grief. Oh, listen, let it go, yeah? She's an old woman now, yeah? And, you know, it's a shame. It's a shame that she's done this, like she's done it, because I'm a brother, yeah? I'm right ill, mate, you know, and it's, when she needs anything, I'm here for her, yeah? I'll always be there for her, but now she's spoiled all that. She's ruined that, yeah? I mean, and she ain't got long, my sister's by herself, living in a house by herself, feeding her foxes and her badgers and doing her gardens and all that, you know? I don't interrupt with her life. I let her have her life. I let her do, I don't get on a bus or a train or a car or a motorbike and go down and smash her house up and rip her plants up and all them sort of things, because it's my sister. I love my sister. Just let her get on with her life, yeah? Leave me alone though, because I can't work out how brothers and sisters are fighting like this. It's absolutely stupid. Right? Anyway, let it go. My ex-wife, I've had my ex-wife for years and years and years and years for aggro and more aggro. You know, guys she's with. Anybody ever see Crocodile Dundee, where the guy's got his gonk? You know, I don't worry about things. I've got my gonk, and the gonk comes along and punches the guy. That's what Christine used me as, her gonk. Any trouble, I was her gonk. Anything. Right, I'd go round and sort it out because I was her gonk, yeah? All the guys that she's with have always caused problems because it's her fault. It's no one else's fault, it's the way she is. She can't, it is what it is, yeah. So then she decides, to cause me more grief. One day I go over there, aggravation with this other guy. I sort the guy out, this, that, and the other. I come out of prison. I climb a lamp. I climb a drain pipe. I go in the house. She's talking about a geezer that she's getting hold of, and this is my pal or my ex-pal. And I can't believe it, but it is what happens, yeah. She didn't have to wait too long because I was out on the street. Bail. Brian Cox, the actor, director, got me bail. So he dropped me around home with Jimmy Tibbet. Anyway, but cut along, forget about that. And then again, more aggro with someone else. And then the worst part about it was that when I was in Maidstone prison and I was given home leave, I never thought I'd get home leave, but I got it, yeah. I was more excited because I wouldn't have seen my kids. I didn't know that she was this Bob Geezer, who was my mate, who painted the house up and all that. I didn't know she was with him. I hadn't got a clue that she was with him. So when I went round to pick my kids up, I never see him or nothing, yeah. I didn't know she was with him. And I was not told nothing. It's only the kids that told me, yeah. Anyway, when my boy told me certain things about what he's made my boy do, and then I take my kids to a police station. I don't do it myself. I take my children to Ealing Police Station. I'm now on the verge of going to Ealing Police Station to get all this evidence that I need, about what happened and things like that. Even regardless of what he got not guilty, I'm still want the paperwork for it, yeah, to prove a point to my own self, yeah. Anyway, so I take my kids to Ealing Police Station. They bring these carer people in from hospital. They come in, give my kids dolls, and ask my children to tell them what happens when this guy comes around, Bob. What does he do? My daughter, they come and told me my daughter was sweet. My Jamie, good as gold. Nothing was happening. My boy, it was different. So it was so different that they nicked him. They caught him at Hanger Lane Station and they remanded him, took him to the police station, questioned him and remanded him in custody at the Scrubs. She, even though he'd been put in remand, right, at the Scrubs prison for maybe, I don't know what it was, abusing my boy or whatever, right, because they ain't going to do it without evidence, she used to go and visit him. And then she got him bail. And then while she was on bail, she married him. I was told she married him in prison, but then they get the other thing, she married him, yeah? So she married him. So you can imagine when the police are telling me that he's out of prison and your ex-wife's married this geezer that's molested my son. I was going mad. Don't forget I was back in prison. And I got, and everything went, I didn't know what to do, yeah? So when I come out of prison, he was in court, Idesworth Crown Court. I used to go with the police officers. They took me outside the court and said, look, you can't come in. Certain things this, certain things that, yeah? And then one day they come out to me and said, look, there's no way that he can get away with this. But what's happened, the welfare, through the police officers, have told me that they've told her that if he gets a guilty, which is more than 75% proof, they're going to take the kids from her, yeah? Which really upset me. But would you allow your kids to be with someone who lets someone do this to her kids and marry the guy? She's the best actor in the world. She should get an Oscar. Right? Anyway, she got in the dock, crying her eyes out to the jury, saying, do you think that I would marry that man who's molested my children or my son and marry him and get him bail, marry him? Don't be stupid. Anyways, they come back with not guilty. The old Bill was surprised, went mad. Then I tried my hardest to get hold of him and do all sorts of things, but they got me and took me to Southall Police Station, and the old Bill that were the ones that nicked him told me to get my gear back off home because we know this guy was guilty. We're guilty as they come. We know this, right? But you can't take the law into your own hands. He's got a not guilty. Then me and a guy called Alex was driving through Ealing, and we were around back by the Green, come out by Ealing Common Station, and it's karma, mate. This guy that molested my son that got not guilty, that she stood bail for and married, walked in front of our car. My mate Alex jumped out of the car, and I can't run, chased him like a lunatic to Ealing Common Station. He went down the platform, over the top, downstairs, across the lines, and run, right, like a whippet. As we come back, Alec come back, I got out the car, and there was a big bag on the floor, picked the bag up, and inside the bag were pornographic magazines of children. I went mad. When I phoned her up and told her, she called me all this, all that, everything under the sun. I divorced him. I put him for a divorce rate. So she knew what was going on. She married him, and when he got not guilty, she chucks him out the house, and then she divorces him. What woman does that? What woman stands up with him in court, so he gets a not guilty, so she gets her kids back, and then she divorces him, even though she knows what he's done to them kids? And you call her a mother? You call her a mother, right? But anyway, I don't call her that, right? So, all this has gone on. We row 24/7, never stopped rowing. Then she got involved with another guy called Bobby Elstead. Bobby Elstead, around Greenford, around Norfolk, around them areas, he was a bit of a jack the lad, a bit of a dangerous guy. She lived with that guy. He used to give my kids grief. So my boy told me, my daughter told me, so I come around the estate, and anyway, and then they called the police on me. Anyway, it's all started all that shit again. But because he gave her grief and, was bashing her up, she went to Scotland. Don't forget, my kids are only young. My kids were 10, 12, maybe 13, I don't know. But she left my kids with this guy who's been bashing, and she left him. She ran away, but left my kids there. What mother does that? So when my boy, he said to my son he's going to go to Scotland and get her, break her neck and all this shit. My boy got in the car with his mates. My boy must have been 15 years of age, 14, 15. Got in a car, drove to Dundee. On the way to Dundee, in a car with no insurance, they hit a wall, a granite wall. My boy was sitting in the back seat. He went from the back seat straight through the windscreen, hit the granite wall, 4-inch cut on his head, died. 4 times my boy died. Ambulance got him to Dundee Infirmary. The guy that was driving the car lost half his face and his right arm where he was hanging out the door. The other one, in the kid, wound up in a nut house. He couldn't take what happened. He wound up in a nut house. He died, right? He didn't die straight, he died later. So my boy's now in Dundee Infirmary. I get a phone call, I go up there. My boy's in bed with all his tubes hanging out of him. He's got a tube coming out of his mouth. and they pull this tube, this string thing, and he sits up, and they're clearing his lungs. He sits up, and I think he's awake. And I want to cuddle him, and they said, no, he's not. He's a cabbage. He's not a cabbage, but he's not alive. The machines are keeping him alive. I started crying, little cut in his head, and then they told us, look, they're going to put this bolt in his head, and if the bolt tells us that there's no blood circulation, rather than be a cabbage, we feel that we need to talk to you. So they talked to us, told me my boy would be a cabbage for the rest of his life. Best thing to do is turn the machine off. I went, look, I don't want my boy a cabbage. I don't want my boy to walk about not knowing who he is and not being a boy. She went mad, bashed me up, fair play to her, smashed me to pieces, and my boy pulled through. And since the boy pulled through, she's brought him up all these years, changing him, nappies, until he's big enough to do it himself. Like wheelchairs, 10 years and all that, yeah? So you can't blame her for being the mother that she was. But she's caused everything. She's the one that's caused all this. She caused everything. So I pulled away from her, yeah? I pulled away, got a little bit more sentence, come out, and I met this girl called Danny Johnson. I met her in a place called Pal Joey's. She was a waitress in Pal Joey's. There's a big piano in Pal Joey's. She was under there with her friends, nicking bottles of champagne from the top of the piano. I went mad. Eventually, talked to her, and this, that, and the other. I looked after all these guys, went down for Denzi's. Everyone wanted to go hold of my Danny because my Danny was really beautiful. She was long, absolutely stunning. She was awake. She was stunning. I happened to be the one that she liked. So I took her back to my place, never done nothing. Anyway, I asked her for a phone number. I'll give her this jacket. I'll give her my jacket to go home with, get her a cab if it was cold. Asked for a phone number. She gave it me 2 seconds later. I said, "Kiss that number again, please. I can't write it down." She gave me the wrong number. So anyway, she eventually give me the right number. Me and her get together. We have kids and everything, yeah, or baby. Then anyway, I then fight 24/7 with the old man. He ain't out of prison yet. Me and him fight because of what I do, who I was with, what I was getting. He was very jealous. Guns going off, stabbings, axes, everything. It's one of them things, yeah. Lucky to be alive. Anyway, so all that's been done, dusted. I go in prison, IPP, car phone warehouse, IPP, bump going there, 10 years in prison, 12 years, 13 years nearly on the street. So I'm still in prison, even though I'm on the street, it's still a sentence, yeah, which is worse than being in prison. So then Terry Haley comes round to my house, comes over, can't believe it. Takes me here to this flat where I am now. Do you want this flat? Yes, I get the flat. He looks after me, Terry. Then we do the book, and that's what's happened. We do the book, right? And everything's sweet. Everything's sweet. Then me and Terry go and see Christine, right, where she's living. We go over there to see her. Everything's sweet. Marlow, beautiful places. My son's place, we go there, see my son, sweet. Go there once, go there twice. Then, everything's nice. Go see my son the following week, come home, put the phone on, and it's Yammy interviewing my brother-in-law, Perry Carlin. But how can he be interviewing my brother-in-law? My brother-in-law's been dead 15, 20 years because he's the one who grasped me up and got me 7 years. So now I'm thinking, is my ex-wife involved in that? Because they come through that front door, the old bill, with guns and everything. I was in the sunbed. So was she involved? Anyway, she divorced me. I was at Lewis prison, she divorced me, yeah? Got divorce papers a lot. So when I come out this time, everything's sweet, right? And I told you about Perry, this, that and the other. She gets hold of my book and starts reading my book. I ain't run my Christine down. I ain't run her down. I ain't run her down. I could have done. There's a lot of things I put in that book that my mate Matt Trollope, the ghostwriter, refused to put them in the book. He said, no, he ain't doing that way. So I done a lot in that book, or I didn't do a lot in that book, the things I've told you now that I never put in my book, right? So I didn't do any harm to her. She then, with my sister, goes on YouTube and finds this geezer, this little rat called Yammy. Anybody in their right mind is not going to go against YouTubers for one and get involved with families, because it isn't right. It's no things that happen like that. You don't do that. You don't do things that get involved with families. It's things you don't do. But he decided, because he's a little rat and he hides every 5 minutes and he tells people that I've threatened Rail and all that crap. Listen, I could kill him stone dead, mate. I could rip his head off. It's that easy for me to do. The geezer's a wimp. But I don't want to go back in prison. I don't want to go back in there. I could rip his head off. Easy. No problem. I could smash him to pieces. No, he couldn't hurt me. He could not hurt me, right? And I could do all this, but who wants to go back in prison for a little rat like that? But my sister and my ex-wife decided to give this geezer all the ammunition that he needs. So they're giving him the bullets and he's firing the gun. You know what I mean? She's giving all the boat, giving so much information about me. He's loving it. He's loving it now. He can get as many views as he like, run me down this, run me down that, then things about sisters and everything. It's all crap. So then I say to myself, what is going on? It's got worse and worse and worse. You know? Then other things come about and I think to myself, is all this worth it, man? What are they doing? They're trying to ruin my book. They're trying to get me off of YouTube. For why? For what reason? Yammy's sitting there like a little rat weasel that he is, yeah? Loving it, getting one story and making 20 stories out of it, yeah? And so my ex-wife, she's loving it. She does loving it. And then everything's happening and other things happening. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And then all of a sudden starts, because I brought up about the dog in my house and put Bindon up to shooting my dog, because who else can I say? There are other names that has come up, yeah? But because of that, I haven't used these names before, ever. Right? Ever. What does he do? My ex-wife for my son, because my son was the only person there when he shot my dogs and went up the steps with two guns in his hands, firing like a lunatic. My boy see that and looked at his face and recognised it, or thought he recognised the guy, and told me later who he thought it was. No one knows what I did. No one knows what I went round Dave's house. No one knows what I done to go and sort things out, ask Dave what's going on, where is he, whatever, going down Brighton looking for the skeezer. No one knows all that. But in the end, I wiped my mouth because I was told that no way was it him, it was somebody else. Right? So I'm out of prison, IPP, everything. I don't want to go back in prison. I don't want to go back in there for nobody. I don't want to go back. So I've let this book go. Let it this all the time, telling stories, getting things nice done. Lovely. Why? Why is my sister and my ex-wife doing what they're doing? There's no sense in it. You've got to look at the long, everything about it, the long thing, not the short thing, the long thing. What happened years and years and years and years ago. Just say to yourself, well, that couldn't be right. That can't be right. And it ain't right. It ain't right. Because that woman that married me, Christine, was madly in love with me because I was Ray Hill. My name was everywhere. My name, Ray Hill, was everywhere. Big Ray Hill. I was all over the world, mate. All over, everywhere. Not over the world, but all over London. Everywhere, right? So she felt safe. And all of a sudden she finds out something. Why didn't she go to the police and tell the police there and then? Why wait 50 odd years, 56 years or whatever it be, yeah? 55, 4, whatever it be. Why wait all them years? And a baby, 2 babies. Why wait all these years? There's no sense in it, mate. It don't make no sense. Why would you wait 50 odd years to do that? Why? Because of my book and because of Perry. That's all. 50 odd years. Why didn't she go and see the police and tell the police then the time it's supposed to have happened? Why didn't she do that? Because it never happened, mate. She's a fucking liar. She's caused more problems than anybody I've ever known in my life, yeah? She's a witch. She's a witch, mate. Can't get away from that. What it is, when I went up with Terry to see her, I could not believe what I was looking at. She spent fortunes, and people see this all the time, you know. She spent fortunes on her face. Big lips, you know, the big lips they put in now. What that? Changes her face. Lips, suction here, had her tits done, all for my boy's money, had a thing done downstairs, had it all tucked in. You know, she thinks she's a young lady again, but having all these operations that she had, it's aggered her, made her look really old. And she knows that she looks really old. And I went up with Terry, and I looked at her and I thought, what the fuck did I see in this woman? What did I see in her? You know what I mean? And my poor boy, he's got her wrapped round him 24/7, driving him mad. Won't leave the fucking house. Won't go to the little 1-bedroom flat he's made for her. She wants the house, the big flat. She doesn't want the little one, she wants the big one. Chucking my boy out. Nicking my boy's money. You know what I mean? Nicking the money for the flood in the kitchen. 50 odd grand or 40 odd grand insurance money that my daughter found in an envelope, where she's had it and spent it on herself. Nah, mate, she ain't right in the head. She's out of order, mate, what she's done. She could have left things, let it all die, not caused the problem she's caused. Why did she do that? Why? All over her brother, yeah, her brother going to see Yammy, and he's supposed to be dead. He was a super gross that grossed 3 guys up and grossed me up and got me bird. She said to me that he died in a car crash, a satellite, he was dead. Everybody I know from Acton, my mate Gary Francis told me the same thing. But she told everybody that he was dead in a car crash, in a burnt alive. Fucking hell, mate. Told me, and I see him, I couldn't believe it when I see him. I thought, he's, what? Can't be. But what it was, which I just realised later on that his son was named something Cowling. And I was giving this boy grief. I didn't know what was going on. I said, your dad was this, your dad was that. His dad was still alive. So then he got all the Yammy to do it. Anyway, look, it can go on and on and on, yeah? You got silly legs now, yeah? Right? A guy goes into my flat, walks up the stairs, shoots my dog. Thief. He runs around the house, shooting the house up. My boy runs upstairs, hides. He can't find my boy. He can't get in there, even if he did find him, yeah? Then my boy told me who this guy is. Please, I always said it. My boy told his mum, maybe a couple of 3 days ago when I see the podcast or the video. She then can't help it because she's so, I don't know, she's not right in her nut. Told silly legs, Yammy, that it was someone. So he mentioned this guy's name, said it was him. Then he retracted it and said, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't him, made a mistake. Now he's saying it's him, but another name, second name, because he's shitting himself. He's pooing himself now because he's made a mistake. He should not have said that. He should not have said that, and she should not have told him, because that can cause a lot of trouble for a lot of people, yeah? And he hasn't done himself no favours, because the guy is a nut, right? And it's as easy as that. I leave it at that. I just leave it at that. I don't say no more about it or nothing, yeah? But all I do know that they done it wrong with there. And if he keeps on using his name, he don't care. That little fella don't care, yeah? He's a rat. You know why I don't care? He's like a supergrass. No, he's not a supergrass, he's a sweet grass. He's a sweet grass, he does it all the time. He's a sweet grass. But what he don't realise is that he's got to come out of hiding one day. He can't keep hiding. He can't keep going to his rehabs, getting himself out of his nut and then going to a rehab again. Keeps going to rehab. Goes, gets his little bit of money because you people are going to view him, giving him good views. He gets his little money, gets his gear, gets his chasing his brown on his rocks and all this. He's chasing it and doing all things, gets out of his nut, drinking, right? And then goes to rehab. That's his life. That's what he does. That's what he does. And now he's wrapped around the geezer of a jag. I ain't saying his name, but he's wrapped around his geezer of a jag now, driving around thinking he's an idiot. He's a fool. He's a little fool. He's a little fool who's involved with another geezer called Matt Hall. They're just mad, a lot of them. They're just not the full ticket, mate. They're not the full ticket, you know. Instead of getting on with their life and doing their bits and pieces, they want to push the boat out. They want to push the boat out a little bit too far and going over the top of everything, which I think is very silly. You can't play games with certain people, yeah? You know, certain people don't allow it, mate. Certain people don't allow it. And certain people ain't proper in the head. Schizophrenic psychopaths. You got to be careful of them people. Bang, bang, row. Nice one.